Hey guys, how's it going? This is Z Hut, and I'm here to talk about the Obi-Wan Kenobi mini-series that everyone wants to talk about, and I'm, looking after the greater good of my channel too, so why not play the algorithm game and talk about it, because I actually have a few things to say about it. What I thought about the show overall was it was okay. It had some points where I was like, okay, this really works, and then other points where I was completely like, wow, they broke the lore here. Let me get what I didn't like out of the way just because, and I have reasons for this. I just don't see why this needed to take place on anywhere but Tatooine. If you wanted to make a series about Obi-Wan looking after Luke, yes, I would have done that because a lot of writing could have done a lot of justice for this, a lot of flashbacks, etc. But I always thought the whole point of Obi-Wan hiding on Tatooine and not leaving was specifically so he could have a place where he could look after Luke and hide from the Empire. After all, Obi-Wan is one Jedi and the Empire is infinite. So jumping from planet to planet in that situation where Jedi are on a death list seemed very risky to me, and it just seemed like a place where Darth Vader could have picked up on the discovery of Luke Skywalker or Leia a lot sooner, and then it would have just been a never-ending 10-year pursuit of Leia and Luke that they would have never seen the end of. Specifically when you look at how Episode 4 kicks off and Luke's very curious about what's going on the outside of the world and what's going on outside of the Empire. I think the whole side quest thing that was going on, just that's the vibe I was getting from it, and it just didn't make sense from a lore perspective. Like, why would you leave Tatooine to begin with? And I just felt like they could have done something else with it. I like to go back to Jedi Fallen Order because that one made a lot more sense in the case of lore between episodes 3 and 4. Mainly because characters like Cal and the crew had a very compelling story that wasn't too connected to the main characters of the Star Wars franchise. They still made an appearance, but the ending of that game made sense because they chose just to destroy the holocron that they were looking for, because they had visions of how their success would have turned into failure down the road. And I thought that was an unbelievable sentiment on how that game is, but with Obi-Wan, I just kind of didn't feel like this made a whole lot of sense lore-wise. At the end of the day, writers and directors are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to make the show that they're going to make. So, hey, thank you for the production. But it just seems like the lore just continues to go all over the place again and again and again. And that might be a problem. And I'm not a fan of how the directors act when faced with these criticisms, because instead of saying, okay, that's a fair critique, they tend to go to another direction and blame the fan base who really knows the lore and could make really good fan fiction and calls them toxic, problematic. I just think when you're in that high of a position, just like Saints Row with game development, you can't just blame everybody else except for yourself for not liking the product, because there is fair criticism to be had with this show. Having said that, there was some stuff that I actually liked, and all of it really revolved around Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. They had a really good plot. I really think it should have just stuck with Vader and Obi-Wan whenever they had this confrontation with each other, because they had a lot of moments that had a very in-depth story. Because Obi-Wan, at the end of Episode 3, he was very guilty about what had happened to Anakin / Darth Vader. He had this impression that it was him who did this to Vader. And at the end of the final duel, when he cuts Vader's mask off and Vader says, "You did not kill Anakin, I did," it kind of seemed like it took a lot of weight off of Obi-Wan's shoulders, and he gets that resolve that you see from him in Episode 4. It's not as depressing in Episode 4 because he never really addresses that, but you see where his certain point of view happens, and he's not just lying to Luke, but he truly believes it. It really reinforced that. So there were some times where this show was actually really working with the lore at certain points. It's just a mixed bag of things that don't make sense lore-wise and things that do make sense lore-wise. But overall, that's what I liked and what I did not like. I don't want to go too hard into the series, just because I'm not much of a Star Wars guy anymore. I feel like there's a whole lot of Star Wars going on, and there's always a new game. I like to keep up with it, but I just like to take it for what it is, entertainment, because at a certain point you realize we have the original trilogy, and anything else could just be add-on to us. But is this show worth checking out? Yes, because it is a bittersweet experience. It has things that work for the original lore and then things that just completely work against the original lore. But at the end of the day, I think it's definitely worth checking out. People might have different opinions of me. You might absolutely love the show, and you might absolutely hate this. I have mixed feelings about it. I thought it was okay in the long run, but that is up to you to decide. Go ahead, check it out, see what you think of it. Thank you very much, and I will see you on the next one. Also, a disclaimer, I did add some background music to this. I also have another channel called Z Hut Beats. So if anyone wants to check that out, the link to this song in particular is on it. Is basically going to be on the description. And I really do enjoy making music. I really do enjoy making certain things of art. So guys, please go check that out if you like this song. Thank you guys very much for checking that out. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.